The Healthy King. King Prasenjit of Kosala loved many things. He loved his wife, the intelligent Queen Kalindi. He loved his daughter, the feisty Princess Vajira, his pet parrot, Sri Totaramji, and his rare purple roses in the royal gardens. He loved a good meal, music played by the official veena player of the court, and good pan after dinner. But what he loved the most was to go hunting in the thick jungle that lay at the outskirts of his kingdom. No, King Prasenjit was not an evil king who loved to hunt and kill innocent animals. All he loved to do was to capture wild dogs and wild horses. During each of these expeditions, he and his royal team of soldiers also carried medicines and food for injured animals in the jungle. The royal doctor would gently tend to all injured or unwell animals, large or small, elephants, tigers, deers, puppies, birds. In fact, Princess Vajira believed that the animals in the jungle waited for the royal party. If King Prasenjit was successful, he would bring back the best horses to join the other beautiful steeds he had in the royal stables. He loved these expeditions so much that he would be in a good mood, humming and whistling to himself 5 days before a chase. And 5 days after a trip to the jungle, you could still see him grinning to himself and fussing over the new horses that had joined the royal stables. On expedition days, he left with his party of soldiers at daybreak, returning only at sunset. Once during such a trip, the king noticed some plump, luscious mushrooms growing in the jungle. He asked his soldiers to pick some of them and took them back to the palace. At the palace, the royal chef cooked these up in a yummy mushroom and onion curry. Prasenjit's mouth began to water as the beautiful aroma of the mushrooms wafted in from the royal kitchen. "What is chef cooking tonight?" asked Queen Kalindi. "Mushroom curry," replied the king, waiting for it to be served. The mushroom curry was scrumptious, and the king ate most of it. He ended the meal with a loud burp. "Chef, make us the same curry for dinner," he demanded, rubbing his belly with satisfaction. This time around, the chef made it with a delicious peas pulao. The king gobbled it up along with the curry. To finish off the meal, there was a delicious kheer. He polished that off too. And yes, you guessed it, he asked for the same mushroom curry at the next meal too. The next morning, the king and his soldiers set off for their usual trip to the jungle. Everyone was excited because it was always fun to go on this trip. They had barely reached the jungle and started venturing deeper to where the horses would be when the king declared, "I am hungry. Let us return to the palace for lunch." It was only 10 a.m. Everyone was surprised. Sudarshan, his nephew and chief soldier, mustered up the courage to ask, "Maharaj, are you sure you want to head back? We have only just started the expedition and you normally don't eat lunch till 1:30 p.m. King Prasenjit shot him an angry look. "Are you the king or am I? Do as I say and turn back. I am hungry. A king cannot stay hungry." The platoon returned to the palace. Queen Kalindi was surprised to see them back so early. "Is everything okay, dear? I hope you are feeling well?" she inquired with a worried tone. "I am just hungry. Please have the kitchen staff serve lunch swiftly," replied the king. King Prasenjit gobbled up his lunch. The king had a whole plate full of fluffy parathas with his favorite mushroom curry, some rice and dal, and gulab jamuns for dessert. After this hearty meal, he began to feel drowsy and went off for his afternoon nap. This continued in the days and weeks that followed. King Prasenjit began to love his food more and more each day, tucking heartily into each meal. Now it wasn't just the mushroom curry he craved. He asked for all sorts of delicacies to be made every day and stuffed himself at every meal, falling asleep quickly after. All this extra food and lack of exercise meant that the king meant to put on weight. Extra layers began to appear around his tummy, below his chin, and under his arms. But the king did not care. His love for food was growing by leaps and bounds day by day. Suddenly, it seemed that this was all he cared about. With each passing day, he spent more and more hours eating and napping. He hardly seemed to attend any matters of state or to spend time with Kalindi and Vajira. When his chief soldier would come in and ask him if he wanted to go out chasing horses or surveying the kingdom, he would refuse, saying, "Oh, it's time for my next meal. Let's go another time." The king had transformed into a person that his family and subjects could not recognize. Everyone was most worried. One day, the king's chief minister came in and excitedly announced, "Maharaj, we are blessed. It is indeed a lucky day for our kingdom. The great teacher, Gautam Buddha, and his group of monks and followers are here at the outskirts of our kingdom. He has agreed to hold a special sermon tomorrow for you and your family members, along with the ministers, courtiers, and people of our kingdom." King Prasenjit and Queen Kalindi were delighted to hear this. The king immediately sent his regards to the Buddha along with fruits and sweets for the monks. The next afternoon, almost everyone who mattered gathered around the peepal tree where the Buddha sat, sharing his wisdom. Everyone listened attentively because this really was the chance of a lifetime. Everyone, that is, except King Prasenjit, before leaving the palace, in anticipation of a long afternoon, he had eaten a big lunch. He was stuffed. Sitting there in the quiet atmosphere, listening to the Buddha, he began to feel drowsy. He really did not want to miss the words of such a great man. In order to stay awake, he started to pinch himself. Buddha, who had his eyes on every single person in the congregation, noticed this. At the end of the discourse, when the king went forward to touch Buddha's feet and seek his blessings, Buddha asked, "Why are you so sleepy, Maharaj? Did you not sleep well at night?" An embarrassed King Prasenjit replied, "Oh, wise one, I am so sorry. I had lunch before I came here and I always feel uncomfortable after a meal." Buddha replied, "Oh, that's an easy one. If you feel sleepy after a meal, it means you ate too much. A man who eats too much and sleeps too much will never be able to accomplish much in his lifetime. You have to observe moderation and balance in your eating. Memorize these words." Before Buddha could utter the words, King Prasenjit lowered his head and sheepishly said, "Pardon me, O noble one, my memory is not as good as it used to be." Buddha replied, "That too is a result of overeating and oversleeping. Never mind, your nephew Sudarshan will memorize the verse and recite it for you whenever needed." Sudarshan bent forward and Buddha whispered the verse to him in his ears. Both the king and Sudarshan touched Buddha's feet and then returned to the palace. Back at the palace, it was soon dinner time. The royal chef brought out the 12 different dishes that had been made specially for the king. King Prasenjit tucked into the food immediately. He took a short break to look up and ask for a second helping. When Sudarshan spoke up, repeating the verse the Buddha had whispered to him, "One who eats in moderation and stops before he is full enjoys good health, vitality, and wisdom for all his days." Upon hearing these words from Sudarshan, King Prasenjit put the morsel of food he held in his hand back into his thali and declared, "Enough! I will not have any more. Queen Kalindi, Princess Vajira, and the king's helpers were all shocked. But this was not a one time occurrence. At each meal, as soon as the king asked for a second helping or another course, Sudarshan would softly repeat the words, "One who eats in moderation and stops before he is full enjoys good health, vitality, and wisdom for all his days." As soon as he would hear these words, King Prasenjit would instantly stop eating. As he started eating less, the extra layers around his tummy, chin, and arms began to vanish. He also began to feel less drowsy after lunch and stopped sleeping in the daytime. He was beginning to feel energetic, bright, and cheerful once again. He started waking early each morning, tending to his roses, walking in the garden with the queen, talking to his parrot, Shri Totaramji, and playing chess with Princess Vajira. Most importantly, he once again began to get interested in the matters of the kingdom. One day, the unthinkable happened. King Prasenjit sat down to lunch. Guess what was in the menu? His favorite mushroom and onion curry. The chef had placed a massive bowl in front of the king with a mountain of puris. To his shock, King Prasenjit declared the curry was delicious, ate 2 puris with the curry, and then stopped. A delighted Sudarshan said, "Your Highness, today you didn't even need me to recite the verse. You stopped on your own. I'd better find other jobs for myself now." King Prasenjit replied, beaming, "Yes, my dear Sudarshan, the wise Buddha taught me a most valuable lesson." The next day, the king, Sudarshan, and the hunting party were ready at daybreak. They spent a fabulous day in the jungle, chasing wild horses and tending to injured deer and birds. They returned to the palace at dusk, tired but happy. Giving Princess Vajira a hug, the king said, "I had a wonderful time. We brought some nearly 50 wild horses and took care of almost 25 injured animals and birds." Hearing this, Queen Kalindi remarked, "Maharaj, I am so happy that you are cheerful, considerate, and contented once again." Embracing his wife, the king declared, "You must thank Buddha Kalindi. He showed me the path of moderation, the path which has given me back my greatest possession, health, my greatest acquisition, contentment, and its dearest relative, confidence." Its dearest relative, confidence.